entertainment side was always very important. I guess the big turning point was, 30 years ago, I said to myself, I've got bands, I've got DJs, I've got musicians, how can I get more work? So I came up with the idea, and I produced my first event called the Salon de la Mariée. And that was a bridal show with everything for weddings, honeymoons, and future homes. So in that project, I became the promoter producer, but I also had a second hat where I also was a performer promoting my entertainment company. First show that I did was 30 years ago at the Holiday Inn Point Claire. We had maybe 75 vendors and about 400 brides. The last show that I did at Palais des Congrès had 6,000 visitors. So the show is growing humongously. It's now the longest running, bridal show in Canada. And over the years, my whole family has got involved. I mean, from the day that my daughter was just barely able to walk, Marlene was a model in the fashion show. I remember way back at one of the first shows, Mark Burns, who was a radio announcer on CJFM at that point, took her out, and I guess he sort of carried her out and said, and now we feature, Marlene Kagan wearing Pampers. Until just a couple of years ago, she was modeling every year at the Salon de la Mariée. Eventually, Barry got to do the same thing, and we had this teeny little tuxedo for him, and some of the highlights of my life, and were Marlene and Barry, together coming down the runway at the fashion show, and they were, just yay so tall. So they've always been involved with the modeling and making people happy, so it's really rewarding. It's much more than the financial side. It's just like, people leave and they say, well, thank you, we had a great time. And I can't go anywhere where someone's going to say, you did my wedding so many years ago, my anniversary, my Christmas party. Whenever I do a function, there's 5, 10, sometimes 15 people that will come up with some story from something we've done in the past. It's great. When the ice storm came in, my bridal show was supposed to take place that week when the city announced that they're going to restart to open businesses. It was only 72 hours before my bridal show that I get permission from Hydro-Quebec, the City of Montreal, and the provincial government. Basically, it really boiled down to there was people on the South Shore that had no electricity, and was I going to turn on the power at the Palais des Congrès with big lights and big sound when people, were suffering in the South Shore? But what it really came down to is Hydro assured me that this was going to make no difference whether the Palais was going to be open to whether these people on the South Shore were going to have power. When I announced that the show was going to be open, the calls that came in and the emails that came in were incredible from brides and from moms that were saying, wow, thank you, we're so happy. In the end, it was great PR for me, but we also came out of it showing that we were, careful for the environment, and we waited right till the end to make sure that we were going to do the right thing. And that's what I've tried to do from day one with my business. 4 years ago, I was watching the market and reading and looking at the internet and realizing that everything was gearing toward the baby boomer generation. So I came up with an idea and started the show called Salon de Baby Boomers Plus, which was everything for baby boomers. Not only is it a trade show, but in a separate room I have seminars where doctors talk about medical issues. I have performers. I have a band that looks and sounds like the Beatles playing. Boomers is really kind of a phenomena right now, and I should be doing that show for many years too. Last year, again, I saw opportunity to go after the business community, and I launched a show called Salon de Mariée, which really was everything to do with businesses, networking, how to take your business to the next level. And it was a success, and now I'm launching a whole series of those shows, and now what I'll do is I'll just have different focuses. One of them will be geared toward meetings and incentive travel. The other one will be geared more toward technology. And now I have 3 trade shows. The entertainment company. I think it would be too much to do the concerts too, but I'm not discounting that will happen again at some point. We started going to Jamaica as a family, way back, we used to go to a hotel called Boscobel Beach, which is in Ocho Rios, which originally used to be a Playboy club. Got to meet a lot of Jamaicans, became friends with some really wonderful people, Maureen and Derek Aarons. Maureen was the sales manager at the hotel, and after getting to know her, I started to meet other hoteliers, and then for many years I'd go back with Linda, and sometimes with the family, depending on the type of resort it was, and I would perform as the guest disc jockey. Maureen at her home had some of my equipment already in Jamaica, and I would do 3 parties on property. And even though there's phenomenal music in Jamaica, there's great bands, there's reggae and calypso and soca, I came in as the international DJ, playing all kinds of music from all over the world. And the hotels loved it. I also periodically organize destination weddings for Canadians that want to get married in Jamaica. So they can go on their own. There's many organizations that offer that service. However, some of them feel, well, you know, I know Sheldon Kagan from here. He's got a phone number in Ocho Rios. You know, maybe it's a good idea for us to speak to him. And I make sure that they're, you know, picked up at the airport. They get the photographer to take the pictures for them, the videographer, the music, and it's all coordinated by myself.